Hello. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the stream. I'm all upside down, and that's because I've had to set my camera up weirdly, and I couldn't bother to change it all the way around. And basically, I am going to be building a Magic the Gathering deck. For those of you who don't know, me in like my personal life, I've recently got into Magic the Gathering. It's a card game. It's a very popular card game, been around a long time by the Wizards of the Coast. And I'm not great at it, but I wanted to build a new deck. I've been playing with a load of friends. I wanted to build a new deck, and I figured, you know what, why not stream it? I've got half an hour before I have to go out this afternoon, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to stream that for you on stream, and it's also going to go hopefully on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, thank you very much for tuning in, but also, well, welcome to the stream if you are streaming it. I am fully aware that the camera's upside down. It's because I've got it set the other way around. You may hear me at times interacting with people in the lovely Twitch chat. I apologise, YouTube viewers, if you can't interact with them because you've missed it live. But tune into my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/RevJB, if you want to see me live. Otherwise, welcome to the YouTube channel across that way. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to move the camera back down so that we can see what we were looking at. So it's down roughly there so that we've got things happening. Now, what I'm doing is I'm going to be using Theros, Born of the Gods, and Journey of the Nyx, which is a new block. Well, it's not. It's kind of like the current block in Magic the Gathering. And so I'm going to build a deck out of these to use that across this way. Now, one thing about my Magic career so far, as of the last year, which I've been involved in it, I've always had a bit of an irrational hatred for the lovely, lovely green cards. I don't know why. I've just always decided that I don't really like greens. So we are going to hopefully build today a deck that uses mostly those. All the forests to hopefully get us a nice deck. Now, this was partly because for the recent times I've been doing a lot of drafting. So I've drafted a lot of Theros, Born of the Gods, and the Theros block, I guess, rather, because it seems quite cool. I like Greek mythology. So, and during my time of drafting, I ended up drafting a couple of green decks, and also I ended up picking up a whole heap of green cards. So I've got all my green cards here. What I should have probably done before we started is separate them out into types. So we'll quickly do some of that now. So there's some creatures, some special lands, enchantments, sorceries, instants, enchantments, instants, creatures, creature, artifacts, which I think I might keep hold of just in case. Then we've got some instant creatures. We've got some more instants on the artifact. We've got a god, which I don't know if I'm going to use because it's a different colour. Some more sorceries, some more creatures, no more Easter, more creatures, lots and lots of creatures. So I think basically the way I'm going to look to build this deck is because I've picked up a few interesting creatures, like this one that I've just pulled out to the top of my deck. It's almost like he planned it. This is the Golden Hind, which adds a lot of nice mana ramp, so it gives me extra, there's another one, extra mana to use. So the idea is I want to go for, obviously this typical green deck is big creatures, and that's something that I want to try and recreate in my deck. I quite like the idea of having some big old beastly creatures, partly because I have a couple of rush decks as well, so maybe having some sort of control up to the big end is going to be something useful. And also last draft I pulled this out, which is the Market Festival, which gives me extra mana for my land, so that might be something that's useful as well. More creatures, more instants, creatures, more instants, creatures, la 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 la, getting these all sorted out. Varix Mender is a 2-colour creature, which I'm going to put separately because I might use that, but I don't know if I'm going to splash. Originally, the deck idea was that I would stick close to monocolour, but I guess that may change at some point. So, we've got all these things sorted out here. We're going to get rid of the equipment for now. I've got 2 dual colour lands, Temple of Plenty and Temple of Malady, which I might use, I might not. I thought I had a Sphinx in here that was blue or green. Did I accidentally put her in here without? Yeah, there it is, Fleet Feather Cockatrice. So that one I don't think I'll use because I've not got the dual colour land. The other 2 I have got the dual lands, so they may crop in a little bit later on. But we're going to stick those to the side for the moment. Now, the idea is that I wanted to have a big deck. Now, the reason that I wanted to have a big deck came down to a few of the things that I pulled out. So, for example, I pulled out a Hero's Bane during one of the drafts. I had a couple of Golden Hinds. There was the Humbler of Mortals as well, who's a nice big creature. There was also the Ferris Band Raiders. They were there. Scourge of the Coat, Scholar Vale. Was that one? That was one that's pretty big. And maybe I won. Oh, another Golden Hind. Wow, I have 3 of those. Okay. And then also there's the Satyr Wayfinder as well. So, thank you, Bear Maulings. I'm hoping that that's a good thing and not a taking the mick out of me bad thing. But either way, it's nice that you're enjoying yourself. So we have these across here. So the idea was I was hopefully going to build a deck that was going to make use of the fact that I have a load of golden hinds to hopefully then pull up to get out some of the big creatures. Originally, I was thinking about the idea of possibly putting together a Hydra Tribal deck, but that turned out to be a little bit more expensive than I wanted to spend on something that may or may not work very useful. So, I mean, that was the sort of thing that I was going to look at. Now, obviously, we're wanting to look to get like 35, 30 so cards to get everything pulled together. So we're going to have a look at things. So basically, I'm going to include some mana ramp. I mean, I want those. So those 4 are going to be in because they're going to hopefully provide some of the engine to get me some mana up. So we've got the Golden Highlands giving the mana. We've also got the State Wayfinder, which could hopefully pull some more land out of my hand. And that should hopefully enable me to play some of the bigger creatures. So let's have a quick look at some of these and see if any of these are actually something that I want. Nessian Demlock, not bad. At the end of the day, it's 5 mana for something that will destroy a target non-creature permanent, which I'm not that fussed about. I mean, it's not bad, but ultimately I don't think it's going to be too great in the grand scheme of things. Let's move these down out of the way, because we know that we're including those ones, so that's kind of the point of this deck, to use those. We have Hero's Bane, which is pretty good if you can keep it out for long enough. So I was tempted with that one. In the draft that I had, I got that. The drafts I played, I got quite a few of those out quite early on. I seemed to pull it really often, and it seemed to do its job sort of until people just had some way of like shutting it down, which was a bit annoying. Oh, bit of tea there. Sorry. We also then have Scourge of the Solar Veil, which is useful if you've got a lot of tokens and creatures. What's that? You're only using the cards you have. Disregard. But a great land for Mono Green Devo. Shrine to Nyx. Oh, sure. Unfortunately, I don't think I have. I don't think I have that card. And I'm going to try and put together a card that I have. Yeah, as you said. So I might disregard it, but it might be something I look into if this deck doesn't like bomb horrendously when I try it out. So Scourge of the Scholar Veil. You need to sacrifice creatures to get it, so he's not on my go-to list. He's also not pretty big, to be fair. Hero's Bane I like. So I might try New Hero's Bane if we can. I quite like Humbler of Mortals. I like the idea of having some trample in there if I'm going to be running some big creatures. And I do quite like the Ferrous Band Raiders. If you've got the mana to spare, which hopefully with my extra mana cards I should have, you can start putting 3/3 Centaurs onto the table. So I mean that forms the start. That forms the start of our creatures. So we're gonna, for now, I'm gonna put Scourge and Nessian Demolock to one side. I don't know if I'm gonna use those. So currently we have these 7 cards that we can use. 3 Golden Hinds for just like stupid amounts of mana, hopefully. Safety Wayfinder to pull some land out if we need it. And then we've got the bigger creatures at the top that I want to use. Now, things that strike me instantly is that we have a Constellation card in there, which we only have 1 of, but it might be worth to try and get something to do that. And we've also got a thing that has X counters where X is increasing. So looking to find things like that. Oh, this is the instant pack. I'm looking at creatures for now. I'm looking for other things that might trigger that across there is something that I might be useful for. So we've got Settler Starbreaker, which destroys auras. Might be useful. I'm going to move these to the side and we're going to start like a maybe useful pile. So I mean, breaking auras might be useful because it might get rid of some stuff. It gives a controlling aspect, so that's something that may be happening. We also, I missed the Snake of the Golden Grove, which I probably shouldn't. Snake of the Golden Grove, I think actually I am going to put in, despite completely missing it. It's 5 mana for a 4/4, which is not great, but it's got the tribute on it, and if it doesn't get the tribute, it gains me the life, right? So I think that's going to be quite useful. So I'm gonna put that one in there as well, which means the mana curve is already starting to look a little bit ridiculous. Nessian Corsair, which is not bad, but doesn't do anything special, so I guess maybe to bulk up numbers. We have Heroic, which if we pick a lot of targeting creatures might be useful, but I'm not sure if Heroic's going to work too well in this deck because I'm just going to try and get out the big monsters and then use those across there. So I think that's probably in a no pile with Nessian Corsair. The Vulpine Goliath, it could fit in. Maybe it could fit in. Maybe I could swap out one of these more situational ones. So maybe I could swap for the extra mana instead of the Hero's Bane to use that up. But I don't know. I think the Vulpine Goliath maybe, so we'll stick that in the maybe pile with the Settler Starbreaker. Stater Piper, it's got some nice target creature must be blocked this turn if able. May be useful, but I'm generally not that fussed. Nessian Game Warden. And I think game order could be potentially pretty useful. Look at the top X card of your library, where X is in forest control. You may reveal a creature and put them into your hand. And she's good if I'm looking for a particular creature, but I'm hoping that I've got enough big stuff that I'm probably not going to be looking for a specific one. So I think that one unfortunately goes out. Oakheart Dryads is useful because it's got a constellation on, and it's also because of +1 to things that I've got. So that might be something that I think that's probably going to make it in. Renowned Weaver I had a load of success with in the draft that I played with them, because you get the spider, which is great for the reach, and reach is useful for killing flyers, which are often used early on. So I think that's probably a must-have. Another Oakheart Dryads, maybe we'll have 2, so we'll stick that one in. We'll stick the Oakheart Dryads in just there. Satyr Grove Dancer, that might be useful because you've got the +1/+1. It's also a cheapish creature, so that might be useful to boost things up. So I think that's probably going to make the way in. Citizen Oathsworn, again, you got the heroic mechanic. Could work out, could work not. I'm going to say that in the maybe for now. Citizen Starbreaker, once again, goes in the maybe. Hero of Lena Tower, I really like Hero of Lena Tower, and I think she's got potential in this deck to work. She's a super cheap 1/1 drop, which is going to be useful to just like get off the bat if I need a body. But also I really like the heroic, where you can pay extra stuff to boost her up. Now the idea of this deck being that I get a frig ton of mana, meaning hopefully I can boost her up. So I'm going to use her as a very cheap drop to get in there nice and early. I like the Nyxborn Wolves because you get the enchant bonus. It's not great, but it's a pretty good enchant. So I think I'm probably going to have that one, both of those in, because again, high in bestow costs, but hopefully mana to pay for it. So we're going to have those in as well. We've got the Ravenous Lucracota. It's not bad. It's Vigilance, which is nice. I think that goes into the maybe pile. And then we've got Satyr Grove Dancer, which gets they entered, and maybe we'll have 2 of those. Let's have a look. So we're going to put that in there just like that to start off with. So what do we have look at first look through? So we currently have what we got? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 monsters. So they're not too bad. Depending on how many sorceries you put in, spells and stuff, that might change. So we've got those across that way. These are the no go monsters. So I'm going to get rid of those, throw those to the side. So let's just rearrange these so that we've got some sort of semblance of our mana curve. I think that's probably a wise idea. So we've got 3 Golden Hinds and the Wayfinder in there. We've got a couple of 1-drops, not a huge amount of 1-drops, which might come back to bite me in the backside. But then at the end of the day, the hope is that we get the Golden Hinds out early to get the things going. We've got the Satyr Grove Dancers. They're in at that slot too. We also then had the 3 mana drops, sorry. So we've got 2 Oakheart Dryads and 2 Nyxborn Wolves. Whoops. 2 Oakhearts. So hang on, let's do this properly. So we've got the 1 mana drops across here. We've got the 2 mana drops across there. We've got the 3 mana drops. We've then got the 5 mana drops, which is Hero's Bane and Snake Grove, and then we've got the 6 mana drops at the top. Now I don't think that's too bad. We've got a bit of a bump at 2 and 3, but then we've got into the higher ones. Obviously it would help if I had more high cost cards, so it does look at other things that we could put in there. Now we are going for a lot of mana, so maybe there now is a place for the Vulpine Goliath. Maybe not. I don't think there's going to be many auras. I don't actually think Setters and Starbreaker is going to be useful. I don't like them. We're going to get rid of them. Bye. Goodbye. I think I might like, in this situation, I think I might like the Ravenous Lucracota. It's straightforward, but I think there might be a time in which I can afford the monstrosity cost on it. So I think we might stick that one in. Citizen Oathsworn, no, I think we've got enough load to get rid of that. And I'm tempted to maybe put the Vulpine Goliath in. Let's try it. Let's put the Vulpine Goliath in and see what happens. So that gives us 3, 5, 6, 10, 16, 18 monsters. So that's an 18 monster start, which I think is not too bad. So we're going to move on to have a look at what goes on. Now I'm going to leave these hopefully at the top. In fact, I might move them to the bottom because I think it's easier to see the cards if I put them together at the top, so that you can see what we're doing. So let's move on to the spells. So, spells that we have. So we have Mortal's Resolve, pretty good, a nice instant, keeps things alive and gives them a little bonus if I need them. So I think I'm going to keep Mortal's Resolve. I like that; it's a good card. Shredding Winds, very situational card. It's a very good removal if you've got a lot of high power flying, but I don't know whether it's completely necessary. So we're going to stick that over on this side as the maybe. The Defend the Hearth could keep you alive. So we'll definitely we'll have a maybe and probably a not. Maybe on the Defend the Hearth, I'm not sure. Fade into Antiquity. I think it could be useful. I think it's probably going to make at least there's a lot of enchantments, right? There's a lot of target artifacts. We're in the block that has enchantment creatures. That's almost a certain, I think. And we've got another one there, so we'll put that one straight in as well. Savage Surge. Target creature gets +2/+2 until the end of turn. Untap that creature. I think that's going to be useful because it's instant speed. It gives us +2/+2, and it can proc few heroics that we have. We don't have many heroics, but we've got things like the Hero of Lena Tower, which will need procking. It also will give. It could also be used to help boost the Hero's Bane, like nice and quickly, and things like that. So I think we're probably. I think we're probably going to keep that. I think that's a nice one. It gives you that extra boost, which you might need. Enchantment cards. I don't really have that many enchantments. That being said, that's a lie. We have, what, five enchantment creatures. So a quarter, I guess, of my creatures are enchantments. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm relying on the enchantments. So I think that's probably a no for Kruvix's Insight. Nature's Panoply, again, you've got Strive cost, which is going to be good if we've got a lot of mana. It also gives +1 tokens, which procs some of the other things. I think that's quite a useful card that we might keep. Consigned to Dust is like an upgraded Fade into an Antiquity. In fact, I think it's technically a better Fade into Antiquity. Maybe we swap out one of the Fade into Antiquities for a Consigned to Dust for later on in the game. Like maybe that's the play. Maybe we do that. So maybe we swap one of those out for those. Market Festival, I think, is kind of what I had in mind for how this deck works. So I'm going to say that's necessary. Settings and Tactics I like because it gets to fight target creature. It also gives you the +1/+1 with the Strive, which is, I think, a good instance to get things going, to pull things up to where they need to be. Reviving Melody, not too fussed really. Returning creatures from graveyard, I guess it might be nice to bring back some of the big monsters if they accidentally get deaded, but maybe. Strive, Nature's Panoply, we'll put in another one for why not. Strength of the Fallen, I don't think we're going to have lots of creatures dying, so I don't think that's going to work. I think we can put Strength of the Fallen to the side. Aspect of the Hydra, we're Devotion to Green. We're a lot of Devotion to Green, so Aspect of the Hydra is going to be really useful, so we're going to keep that one. Culling Mark, maybe getting creatures to block, possibly. Mischief and Mayhap, I like. It's a high cost card. Let's put it in for now. Aspect of the Hydra, we can put another one in. Hunter's Prowess, not sure. It's got a nice draw mechanic, but I'm not sure in that one. Unravel the Ether, again it targets enchantment creatures, so we're going to say yes to that. We have an enchantment aura, Chronometra's Favour. I think that's going to be useful because it gives us any mana of any colour to our field, so I think that's another useful one. Consigned to Dust, I don't think we need another one. Shredding Winds, we had no. Commune with the Gods might be useful. I'm not sure. I'm going to say probably a maybe on that one. And then Ordeal of Nylea. I can never remember what this one does. Oh, it gets you the basic lands. That might be useful. That might be useful for pulling more lands out. Okay, so we've got those across there. So let's initially have a look at what we've got in terms. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that is 14 sorceries. So that's 14, 16, 17, 21, 23, 27, 29, 32, 33. So we've got 33 cards in total. No. Did I say 33? I can't count, can I? Let me do that again because I just completely missed it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Yeah, so we have got 32 cards in total. Hopefully I didn't miscount that. Which leaves us with 28 space, so 28 lands, which I think is probably a little high. It's probably well, it is a little high, really. You don't kind of want that much land in there. So I think we probably want to tweak it ever so slightly. And we probably want to move it down a little bit. I think perhaps aiming for, I don't know, maybe 24, maybe 24 lands. I think it's probably a good. Well, 24 lands is the usual good place. I think we've got space for four more things, right? So 4 more things that we were having a look at. Now, the 4 more things that we did have a look at is we can have a look first of all at the sorceries and the spells. So we had a commune with gods, which will put a creature and enchantment into my hand. Maybe, possibly. We had a consign to dust, which will get rid of any artifacts and enchantments. We had the Hunter's Prowess, which actually may find a place. Culling Mark, nah. Reviving Melody, not so sure. Fade into Antiquity, which is another consign to dust. Not too fussed about. Excuse me. And Defend the Hearth. So maybe we'll put Hunter's Prowess in. So let's say we put Hunter's Prowess in. So that gives us another 3 cards to look at. Now, I did have a few multicolored cards that I pulled out. I've got 3 green cards that I was looking at. We've got Karametra, which actually might be useful in this deck. I always thought she was maybe not quite, but it would mean I need the white card. Now, I could very, very temptedly tap into Temple of Plenty, which would give me the white mana, and maybe then be able to pull Karametra out. I don't know. I mean, she gives me the extra land, which might be nice, but I'm not sure. We also have Farrak's Mender, which means I can pull a creature or an enchantment card from a graveyard to my hand. And we also get the Fleet Feather Cockatrice across there. The Fleet Feather Cockatrice, I'm going to say no. I'd like to include it, but it's blue, so go away, Fleet Feather. Now, interestingly, a thought comes across my mind. We're looking for, well, technically 3 more cards, so I might have to take one out. But I have here. Oh, no, actually. No, because we won't count the lands. I have here 2 scry lands, and actually it means that they could dabble into the 2 multicoloured. A little bit of pulling things out of my graveyard might be nice to bring back any dead big things I want to bring back. And also, I mean, Karametra kind of fits this deck because she's all about building the mana, and I want some more mana. So I think what I'm actually going to do is take a bit of a gamble, and I think I'm going to put both the temples in. And then I'm going to put both the 2 colour cards in. It technically makes me a 3 colour. I mean, it's kind of mono with a splash, so it's not too bad. And then I think we've got space for 1 more card. If we assume that these are 2 normal lands and replace them for the same, although they do come in tapped, so. But hopefully that'll be covered by the Hinds and things like that as well. It gives us another space for probably 1 more card. So I think we're going to put those in. I like those, so we're going to put those in. The last thing I was going to have a look at was the equipment that I got. There's a Gorgon's Head, which gives things Death Touch. I'm hoping everything should be big enough that I don't give a rat's backside about Death Touch, so I think we're going to say goodbye to that card. We have Pillar of War, which I think is not bad. 3 for 3/3. And if you enchant it, you can get Defender, but maybe not. And I think Chariot of Victory is really good. I think 3 mana for a 1 equip cost with equipped creature has First Strike, Trample, and Haste. I think that's really good. So because I like it, I'm going to put that in. So that gives us some new sets of cards. So let's have a look at what we're doing. We're going to put the 2 temples out across that way. So we've now got in here. So we've now got sorceries and spells. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 of those. Then we can go down to our monsters. We've got 17, 18 with the 2 multicoloreds, 19, 20, 21 with our big cards, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So that's 36 cards in total, which leaves a space for 24 lands, 2 of which will have the 2 temples to get a little bit of scrying out there, just to help us out in a pinch, but also to give us the colour to splash across. And that should give us the deck. Now, just to sum up, I guess, just to see how it will all go, the idea behind the deck is that we get the Golden Hinds and the Wayfinders out fairly early, or the Golden Hinds certainly, to give us the extra mana to then hopefully ramp up into the next one. One thing I probably would say about this deck that I'm going to see as possibly being a problem is it doesn't have a huge amount of removal. We can see that in the cards that we have in here, we don't have a huge amount of removal. There's a lot of boosting creatures and a couple of destroy artifacts and making things a little tougher. Chariot of Victory, for example, is certainly going to help make things better at defending. And we've got the things across there. So I think hopefully it should grow, and it should grow quite quickly, but I do think that there may be times it may suffer against a little bit of a quicker decks. But do you know what? It's a green deck that I don't necessarily like, and we're going to see how well it plays out, and we're going to give it a try, and I will let you guys know. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you all enjoyed that. What I'll probably do is I'll probably put the logo back up and stick around in chat so people around talking. If you're watching on the Twitch chat, by all means, write me some comments about what you think about my horrendously awful deck in the Twitch chat, and we can have a chat about it afterwards. If you're watching on YouTube, by all means, have a look on the YouTube. Comment on YouTube and let me know what you think I can do to improve it, what you think it might be looked at. Did I make any glaring errors with the cards that I discarded and thought nothing of? Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it. Tune in next time either on the stream on www.twitch.tv/RevJB, here on RevJB Gaming on YouTube, or also check out my website revjb.co.uk, in which I might do a review of this deck once I've played it a couple of times, so I can let you know just how terribly it went. Thank you very much for watching. See you guys next time. Yeah, bye. Thumbs up doesn't really work on a weird backwards camera.